These 6 setups were used by the pro player Dez to win the MCS Ultimate Thanksgiving Tournament, which earned him $75,000 and made him the youngest belt winner in Madden history. So today we're taking a deep dive into all 6 of his setups out of the New Orleans Saints playbook to understand exactly how this 17-year-old took down the best pro players in the world. And along the way, we'll also look at the 3 key concepts that defined Dez's historic run so that we can all learn from them and become better Madden players. In the MCS Ultimate Thanksgiving quarterfinals, Dez faced an extremely tough zone coverage scheme from K-Mac, who was running the $3-2 formation with deep zone KOs on both safeties and flat zone KOs on both outside cornerbacks. Dez got off to a rocky start, giving up a field goal on K-Mac's opening drive and then throwing a pick 6 to put himself in a 10-0 hole. To get back on track, Dez turned to one of the most overpowered tactics in Madden 23 and demonstrated the first key concept of his game, which is embrace the meta. The meta refers to the most effective tactics available, and in Madden 23, the meta is aggressive catching. This is also known as ag catching or agging, and it's become the meta this year because when performed correctly with tall receivers, it's borderline unstoppable. You can consistently complete ag catches by following these 3 simple steps. Step 1 is to identify a tall receiver in single coverage where the cornerback is facing away from the quarterback. Step 2 is to throw a high ball by holding LB on Xbox or L1 on PlayStation with the ball pass-led to the outside. Step 3 is to click onto your receiver and perform an aggressive catch by pressing Y on Xbox or triangle on PlayStation to go up and bring the ball in. Now, after agging his way down the field and punching in a touchdown to make the score 10-7, Dez forced a turnover on downs and could feel the momentum shifting in his favor. On the first play of his next drive, he audibled from gun bunch into setup number 1, which is the play bench out of the formation gun tight offset tight end. Dez consistently ran this play without any adjustments because the corner routes from the tight end and slot receiver are so effective at attacking both man and zone coverage. On this play, his Kyle Pitts was able to get a ton of separation, and Dez hit him on a high ball for the easy completion. After more high ball completions took him down the field, Dez took a 14-10 lead heading into halftime, and on his first drive in the second half, he went back to bench once again, which got him down inside the 5-yard line where he punched in the touchdown to take a 2-score lead. Not willing to go down without a fight, K-Mac answered with a touchdown of his own, and after they each got defensive stops in the fourth quarter, Dez found himself with the chance to put the game away on a 3rd and 4 situation with just 2 minutes left. Here he went with setup number 2, which is the play fade out in the formation gun stack Y flex, and his only adjustment was to put the running back on a wheel route. After the snap, Dez is reading the entire right side, and with one post completely covered and the other running straight at the deep zone KO safety over the top, Dez wisely hits the running back on the wheel route to put the game on ice and secure his spot in the next round. Now, Dez's semifinal matchup was against Wesley, one of the best players in the world, who finished 2nd in the Madden Bowl back in Madden 22 and was considered the favorite to win this tournament. Wesley was playing a man coverage scheme in the nickel 3-3 Cub formation with route KOs and pick artists all over the field, but Dez was ready for it from the start. After securing an early touchdown and then forcing a fumble on Wesley's next drive, Dez found himself on the 8-yard line with the chance to jump out to an early 2-score lead. This is where Dez showed off an incredibly creative red zone passing concept for setup number 3. The play in this case was bench out of single back deuce close, and Dez's adjustments were to put both outside receivers on streaks, put the running back on a wheel, put the wide side tight end on a smart routed in route, and then motion over the short side tight end, put him on a wheel route from the fullback position, and then motion him back. The tight end wheel route is borderline unguardable, and Dez was able to hit him for the easy touchdown to make it a 14-0 game. After his lockdown defense held Wesley to a field goal, Dez turned to setup number 4 on his next drive with the play Saints in and the formation gun tight offset tight end. This setup is designed to attack man coverage all over the field, and the only adjustments are to put the slot receiver on a streak, put the tight end on a slant, and motion block the receiver on the drag. Wesley actually played really solid defense here, taking away the tight end with his user and having a zone defender in perfect position to guard the running back in the flat. However, Art Monk on the post route got just enough separation that Dez was able to freeform the pass outside for the huge completion and put himself in scoring position once again. Now, coming out of halftime with the ball and a 20-3 lead, Dez knew that a touchdown on this drive would put the game out of reach. This is where he utilized the second key concept of his tournament run, which is to disguise your scheme. Something Dez did better than anyone else was disguising his play call by coming out in one formation and then audibling into his actual play and snapping the ball the very moment his players got set. This prevented his opponents from being able to set up their defense properly because they only got to see Dez's formation for a second or two before the ball was snapped. One of Dez's favorite play disguises was to come out in gun bunch and then audible to inside zone in the formation gun stack Y flex, which gave Wesley's defense major issues for the entire game. This exact play disguise helped Dez bust off a 31-yard touchdown run to make it a 27-3 game, and despite a valiant comeback effort from Wesley, Dez's lead was too big to overcome, and he had punched his ticket to the championship game. Now, in the championship, Dez's final opponent was Clef, who was making his third appearance in an MCS final, but was still looking for his first championship belt. Clef ran a lockdown zone coverage scheme out of the nickel 3-3 Cub formation with deep out zone KOs and mid zone KOs on both safeties and both outside cornerbacks. Dez wasted no time putting points on the board when on just his third offensive play, he turned to setup number 5 with the play trail out of gun bunch. His only adjustments were to use Hot Route Master to put his solo receiver on a C route and put his running back on a flat route, but those really didn't matter because Dez was completely focused on the middle of the field. After the snap, the drag route and trail route kept Clef's user occupied, and Dez was able to throw a high ball laser to 6'8" Harold Carmichael, who hauled in the catch and then bulldozed his way into the end zone. With that score, Dez was just getting started. In what turned out to be his best offensive game of the tournament, he marched down the field against Clef on every single drive on his way to putting up 24 points in the first half. What was especially interesting to see is that Dez kept turning to his same trusted setups over and over again, which truly highlights key concept number 3, which is to keep it simple. A common mistake Madden players make is thinking they need a scheme with 20, 30, or even 40 unique plays to be competitive, but the reality is that they'd be much better off if they just focused on mastering a small handful of plays. In the words of the legendary Bruce Lee, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." It was clear that Dez took this message to heart because despite having a small selection of plays in his arsenal, he was the very best in the world at running them. Now, even with how dominant Dez was on offense, Clef put up quite a fight, and in the fourth quarter, Dez was looking to add one more score to put the game away and lock up his championship for good. That's when on 2nd and 6, with 3:38 remaining, he turned to setup number 6 with the play Y curl out of gun bunch. His adjustments were to put the tight end on a slant, put the middle bunch receiver on a corner route, and then motion out the outside bunch receiver and put him on a smart routed out route. And after the snap, while he could have hit the out route or the corner route, he also spotted that the linebacker was late matching onto the wheel route, so he hit it over the top with another high ball to put him once again in field goal range. After his defense shut down Clef on the following drive, Dez had officially earned himself $75,000 and cemented himself as the youngest champion in Madden history. And if you want to see my gameplay using Dez's championship winning scheme, then go ahead and click up here. Or if you want to see how Henry built the smartest offense in Madden history, then go ahead and click down here.